know that this year coming up, we're going to repeat, right? We got anybody that's willing to get – I think Gronk's the guy I need to go to. You're going to guarantee a Super Bowl repeat, right?
I guarantee it.
Damn.
He guaranteed it.
Yep. Hey, ain't nobody scared over here. Straight up. Straight up. Going back for another one, baby. And they can give us their best shot, and we don't care. We already know with our brothers that we got here and the brothers that we got home and the Bucs organization, we're going to do it again.
So I'm not sure how seriously I should ask you the question. What do you think of JPP guaranteeing another Super Bowl?
Oh, man, they came over and they were feeling quite good, Greeny, if you know what I mean. So I threw it out there to see if I could get somebody to say something wild, and it wasn't actually that wild. I like JPP, and he was the only one who gave me a run for my money as far as looking fresh, because he had the leopard skin coat on. He looked good.
He did look good, and he was there feeling good and guaranteeing. What do you think, Damian Woody? You've been to those moments where you're sitting there, you're a Super Bowl champ, people asking you questions. What do you think?
Hell, I probably would have done it in the same moment, too. If I had that good adult beverage in me, I would have been saying a lot of things. But, you know, listen, when you still got that New England ninja like that, but we're not even talking about New England. We're talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and what they did last year was phenomenal. So, listen, go out there, have fun. Listen, we're adults playing a kid's game. Go ahead and do it. I love it. I love it.
Looking at that video, it could not have more perfectly matched. We're adults playing a kid's game, both on and off the field. How about it, Jeremy? The whole world seems to think the Buccaneers are a prohibitive favorite to go back and back.
I'm with JPP. They might have the best overall roster in football. They have either a top 10 player or a fringe top 10 player at every single position. The NFC looks pretty weak. There's a clean path to that title. Who knows who's going to start for Green Bay? If it's going to be Aaron Rodgers or Jordan Love. We don't know what's coming out of the NFC East. We know they're probably not contending. Watch for Seattle, though. Everybody wants to sleep on Seattle. They won 12 games last year and got slightly better. I think they will contend with the Bucs.
Who are we not sleeping on? What? Oh, you just wanted to make sure everyone saw the kicks?
Everyone get the pink J3s in here. But I thought that the hardest thing about putting together a talented team like that is make sure you get it from the side, is them working well together. And they seem to have, who cares what I'm talking about? Just keep that thing, Greeny. Those things are freaking beautiful. Nice.
If there's one thing we learned really today, those shoes are dope ass. We'll see you tomorrow. First Take starts now.
Oh, it was beautiful to see what transpired Game 3.
Russell Wilson had their fair share of drama this offseason. Wilson's longtime teammate Bobby Wagner had this to say to USA Today Sports about where it stands. He said, quote, "I think honestly, it's part of how the league works. If you lose and don't go to the big game, they always try to figure out what went wrong, what happened. So I think after Russell made a couple of those comments, I think it was an opportunity for a lot of people to run with it. I definitely feel like it was a little overblown, but it's all water under the bridge now." That's what he said. Let me ask my reporter today, Jeremy Fowler, my insider extraordinaire. Was it overblown, and is it water under the bridge?
Well, Greeny, major issues did exist. Wagner is right that it is water under the bridge right now, but they had to work to get through, working through some consternation. Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson had multiple talks over the phone to try to sort some things out. Russell Wilson wanted to see the team step up, had some ideas of how to try to get back to the Super Bowl. Now, they made a few moves this offseason that weren't necessarily splashy, but Russell did notice. Tight end Gerald Everett acquiring in free agency from the Rams, considered an ascending player. Gabe Jackson, a guard out of Las Vegas. Two pieces that they can at least work with to get the offense a little bit better. And so this feels far from over. They are in a better spot, though.
So, Dominique, I know you have a theory on the piece of this that might be overblown, the piece of it that isn't water under the bridge. How do you see it?
I don't think it's water under the bridge. And this is, again, it's a theory that's not based on reporting. It's just based on me watching what's happened with Russell Wilson's career. I felt like Russell was the guy. He was the next guy that was going to take over after Tom Brady retired and Aaron Rodgers got too old. And I think Russell viewed it as that way. He was going to be the face of the league. But look, Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers are still balling, and we all have already decided that the guy who's next in line is Patrick Mahomes. So I think that the feelings that Russ is having now is less about the team around him, less about them having team success. It's more about him kind of retaking this throne that he thought he was in line to get. And we always talk about how he's never gotten an MVP. Like, I think what will make him happy is to regain that personal cachet as the #1 quarterback in the league. And even on Jeremy's list, what is he?
Fourth?
Yeah. Like Russell
How does
Wilson
he get
doesn't
that,
view himself
though?
as
Does he
fourth.
get, is the fact that he's in Seattle the factor here? Is it the offense that they run? What is it that he needs to get to be what you're telling me he wants to be?
I think that all matters. The offense that they've started to open it up last year. Let Russ cook. We all heard it and we all were saying it last year. They started to open it up. But prior to that, they weren't doing that. They weren't letting Russ cook. That's part of it. And being in Seattle, I think, is part of it too. Where if he does that in New York City, let's say, him and Sierra in New York, and he's taking the Giants to the playoffs, he doesn't even have to win a Super Bowl. The way that we react to that is different, whether we want to admit it or not. So I think that has to play a little bit into why Russell may be feeling uncomfortable in Seattle.
Well, let's find out from a guy who played in New York and knows what it's like. D. Wood, what do you think of this? Do you feel like this is water under the bridge at this point with Russell in Seattle?
No, it's not. No, it's not. And I do agree with Dominique. If you look at the list that Russell Wilson had as far as trade partners that I believe his agent had put out there, the Chicago, New Orleans, those are big time spots right there where, QBs tend to get a lot of, a lot of spotlight. So it's a little different than being up in the Pacific Northwest in Seattle. And also, just from the football perspective, look at that division. The NFC West is the toughest division in football. Okay, the Los Angeles Rams, a lot of people talking about them being Super Bowl contenders. The San Francisco 49ers are going to be right back there as Super Bowl contenders. Arizona got better. When you look at the Seattle Seahawks, they got a new play caller, guy who's going to be a first-time play caller, got questions along the offensive line still. I don't even know if the Seattle Seahawks are going to make the playoffs. So I think there's going to be a lot of questions again when we get past the season, whether Russell Wilson and Seattle Seahawks are in a true marriage together.
I agree with that. I think that, look, there are always surprises. We never know what things are going to look like, but it doesn't feel like they got closer. It feels like the way things shook out this offseason, they may have gotten further away. Much more on that as we go. Meanwhile, did you see what happened yesterday in the game between the Yankees and the Astros? So Jose Altuve